Greetings and blessings, everybody, and welcome to another Good Gas Mondays. This one is definitely a late night one for those who catch us live on Instagram week after week. You know, we try to get this done by about 9 p.m. the latest, and we're starting closer to 10 o'clock tonight. So thank you so much for being patient with us, for being part of our community, and being so committed to this series that we've started. We began talking about harvest principles on the first Monday in February, and we are now at the fourth and final Monday in February and exploring harvest principle number 4. So I really want to say thank you to everyone who has been a part of the conversation, joined us live, commented when we've posted it on our YouTube page, watched it on YouTube, shared it with family members and friends. And if you are not a member of the YouTube community, but you have been participating in the conversation and drawing strength from the messaging on our podcast, again, thank you. At the end of last week, I actually haven't checked it since today, but at the end of last week, because of your support and because of your commitment to being part of our Good Gas Mondays podcast community, we actually ended last week, the second straight week, as the number 1 health and wellness podcast in Jamaica. We're actually charting on a few other podcast rankings in Cayman, I think Turks and Caicos as well. So I just want to say thank you to our family members, brothers and sisters who are joining us from all parts and corners of the world. Thank you so much for tuning into Good Gas Mondays, for finding value in the conversations that we have here. And more importantly, when you see the value and you can feel the truth behind the message and its relevance in your life, actually taking action and doing something with that wisdom or that knowledge. I know that when I speak, I can only speak from my personal experience. No matter what science says and data says, while I share that part of it too, when I talk about going through hardships and starting from zero and working your way up and thinking you're up and then you get knocked down again and you have to get up again, I don't speak about those things as abstract concepts. I speak about them as part of my own life experience. And so the concept of harvest principles to start off 2021 was very deliberate. There is a harvest coming, and for all of us, when we get to the end of the year, we tend to look back at the 12 months that were to figure out if what we have at the end, we earned it, or if life treated us unfairly. And I would challenge you to start earning the harvest you want from now. Yes, don't leave it until the last 3 months of the year. Don't wait until it is difficult to start. Don't wait until the momentum that's carrying everybody now, that new year vibration that's carrying everybody now. Don't wait until that wears off to then try and do it in a sense of a space of isolation. Start now. Start working on the harvest now. And depending on the season you're in, there's a specific action that you have to take now. For some of us, the season we're in requires us to be doing the investigation on the kinds of seeds that we want to plant. For others, we're supposed to be investigating the quality of the soil. Is this the right time? Is this the right space? Are these the right people to be working on this goal with? For some of us, the seed plant already, we investigate the soil already. But our task now is to show up every single day and give the seed what it needs. Are you doing that? And if you're not doing that, what are you waiting on? So figure out where you are in your season and what is required of you in this season, and just be committed and disciplined and diligent enough to get it done. Because the first harvest principle is true. No matter how you feel about it, it's just true, and you can't bend up the ladder. It is true. You reap what you sow. So if we start sowing good from now, can you imagine what the harvest is going to be like for us then? Yes, for some of us, then is 6 months from now. For some of us, then is at the end of the year. And for myself and my gladiators, then is at the end of our 40-day period, because we're doing our Phoenix Challenge. But you know what the future is. You know what the then is that you have to start working on from now. Because you do what? Reap what you sow. So if you've been part of our conversation for the full 4 weeks, we're at harvest principle number 4 now. And if you've just joined us, I encourage you to do a binge watch or a binge listen. We are as I said earlier, don't know who is joining us just now, so I always have to repeat to make sure anybody who comes into the conversation late isn't lost. But you can do the binge watch on our YouTube page. So just type in Good Gas Mondays, type in Krystal Tomlinson. My YouTube page is there, and we'll post all the videos from the last sessions on YouTube, so you can watch at your own convenience. And we also have the audio version inside our podcast, the last 3 harvest principles. So just quickly recapping what we've done over the last 4 weeks. Harvest principle number 1, as I said, was you reap what you sow. Harvest principle number 2, we looked at giving the seed what it needs. In essence, telling you, you have to give the seed what it needs. Not what you feel like give the seed, not what you think the seed would enjoy most, what the seed needs. Your goals have specific requirements. The changes that you're looking for in life require specific actions from you. You can't get lazy by yourself. You can't make, because I do this long time, me don't want to stop do it, so I go keep do it. If you're in a season of change and transformation, you have to just get up and do what you need to do. Give the seed what it needs. The third principle, which we covered last week, was you eat by the sweat of your brow and not the plan to sweat. And that was really around taking action. So too many of us know exactly what to do, not do it, and then vex when we not see the results in our life. And I said, go. Remember you reap what you sow? Yeah. Remember you have to get the seed what you need? Yeah. I remember that takes effort and action. So you have to eat in proportion to how much you earn. You have to earn your food. By the sweat of your brow is how you're going to eat. Not the plan to start sweating. The plan can get you on the field, right? We expect that you're training and preparing, but when the gun go off, you can't still be in the blocks. When it's time to go, you can't still be planning to go, because the race will go and left you. And some things in our seasons require us to be quick on the draw. Some things require us to take timely action. So as much as we are in a space of abundance and we don't look at life through a scarcity lens, there are some things that are time sensitive. You can sit down there. You can sit down there and don't apply by the deadline and tell yourself, say, I live in a space of abundance, so another application is going to come. When that application was prepared for you, the opportunity was prepared for you, the path was cleared for you, and you sit down there with the mindset of abundance and waste the abundance when it comes. Can't keep wasting your opportunities, can't keep wasting time, and then thinking that opportunities will keep falling in your lap. Opportunities depend on a mission too, Opportunities want to be actualized. So opportunities now come knock on a door where insist it now go open, are just never ever ready for open yet. So you have to give the seed what it needs. And our 4th harvest principle, which we're covering tonight, looks at the way you treat your harvest. Yes, reap as though you need the plot of land forever. Reap as though you need the plot of land forever. And what are we talking about with this principle now? So we spoke around the concept that what you get out is dependent on what you put in the beginning. So you have to plant properly. We spoke about serving the seed so that it can germinate, so it can break through the ground and start to develop itself as a plant, get stronger on the roots, stronger with the stem, branch off, and through committed action and work, sort of the brow, getting up every day, watering, getting up every day, fertilizing, getting up every day, pulling out the weeds by the sweat of your brow. You have to become consistent now and go do the work on the farm at daytime. That's why farmer hands so strong. That's why farmer back broad. That's why farmer calf tough, because farmer knows says by the what? Sweat of the brow. You can plant good and don't go sweat for nurture the seed and lose the harvest. So start properly. Do the groundwork, the foundational work. And then stay consistent. Start sweat. And be consistent and disciplined in taking the action so that the tree can bear fruit. So let's say we do all of those things now. We honor the 3 principles, right? When we see the weather change pan we get up and start to sweat. How can I prepare my farm to take a beat now? Because maybe hurricane will come, maybe storm will come. But I am a farmer that is deliberate. I'm a farmer that is prepared. I know I have to sweat if I want to save that crop. So even when difficult times came, I showed up and did what was necessary to prepare and preserve my crop. Do everything now. Crop bear. Whatever you were working on, let's say you had a savings goal and you were deliberate and you did all the things you needed to do. And in a year, you hit the goal. Let's say a goal was to buy a house. You do what you need to do. Hit the goal. Buy a car. Do what you need to do. Hit the goal. Graduate. Do it. Pay off debt. Do it. Whatever it is. You set the goal and you accomplish it. The fruit are bear. You wanted to nurture some relationships. You nurture them and you have stronger connections now. Fruit are bear. Right? So We are now in the harvest season, and I don't know if you can imagine with me. Yes, I've been using this orange tree analogy throughout our series. You have done what you needed to do, and the orange trees are blossoming now. Orange, them big and pretty, juicy, and you have an orchard worth of oranges. Cause enough tree a plant now. You have about 300 trees, just a beer, and you are now excited. Yes, you are excited. And you're ready to go out now and pick the fruit them off of the tree. So you call up the people and you say, yo, load up, roll out the van them. It is time for us to pick the fruit that we have worked so hard to bear. We are about to reap where we sow. Look how the thing them look good. Look how the haul is going to be heavy. Kind of like a small, finky, unfed oranges we have bearing now. We gave the seed what it needs and we continue to water and to nourish this thing here. And look how it big. Catch the weight of them here. Imagine how much we're going to get when we go to market. Look how we're going to fulfill the orders. When we come back, we're going to pull them something off of the tree now. I want to caution you as you move into your harvest season, because some of us are in our harvest. Maybe you were doing the work from last year and now is your reaping season. Maybe you're not in the season yet, but you're heading there because you're planning to be a diligent farmer, right? When you get to your harvest, I want you to be cautious about a couple of things. One is what we call the upper limit problem. And there is a psychologist, I believe, his name is Dr. Gay Hendricks. Sorry, G-A-Y. I'm always tempted to say G-U-Y, but the first name is Gay Hendricks. He wrote a book titled The Big Leap. And in the book, he explored what was called the upper limit problem. And social researchers have been writing on it for quite some time, but his book introduced me to the concept. So it's The Big Leap. I'd recommend you read it if you're interested after I share some components of the upper limit problem. But I want you to be careful how you harvest. Because if you don't harvest properly, you may end up sabotaging yourself. Fruit them be already now. We don't go pick them now. We sure say them way, right? And them taste good and there's a market for them. So you're going to make your profit. You're going to earn back what you're supposed to earn. So that is a guarantee. But if you're not careful in the process of doing that, yes, of the harvest, pulling things from the earth now, sharing it up among brethren and sisters, selling it to the market to make sure you can earn a profit to reinvest in the next season. If you're not careful about how you're handling your wealth, if you're not careful about how you're handling your resources, you will sabotage yourself and can't get a next good harvest. I hope what I'm saying making sense to you. You will sabotage yourself and make it near impossible, if not unnecessarily difficult, to replicate a good harvest. Because in this harvest, you never take out the things them properly and you never distribute them in a responsible way. So you either will not have any resources for your next harvest to plant more trees, to double it and triple it, or you would have destroyed the land in terms of how you're extracting from it. Yeah? So when you're in your greatest, highest celebratory moods, what are you doing? Like when you're winning right now, as the song from Agent Sasko says. Yeah, me shell it down, I'm a win. What are you doing in your win season? Celebrate, because I don't want you to feel guilty for celebrating. Celebrate. But make sure that you're also exercising gratitude. Because a lot of farmers may have started with you and never survived some of the hardship them that your farm was able to survive. And if we understand the principle of farming well enough, we know it's a profession of hope. You don't know if you're going to get hurricane right through the year. You don't know if you're going to get every rainfall right through the year. We just wash off everything. You don't know if you're going to get drought right through the year and no water in a day. You don't know if you're going to have some little bad breed people where work on your farm where thief the seed them as you put it in so them take it out. You give them the fertilizer and before them put it on the plant, them carrot God for them, you go do what them want to do with it. You ask them for come help you for till and for serve and for work and then pretend like them at work and them just destroy and sow weeds among your seed for choke your plant as it growing up. So there are so many things that you are blessed to not have to deal with. Or you were able to conquer because you had the foresight, you had the wisdom, you had a little spiritual telling you, say, move left, it look like say something going to come up on the road, yeah. Step wide, right? Give this one a clear berth, because something up here, so. So you were getting that kind of spiritual guidance. You were getting clarity in moments when you didn't even know to ask for it. People were coming around, pouring advice and support in ways that you didn't even know you needed. And all of that worked together for your good harvest now you have. But remember the things, the variables that were out of your control. Be grateful that those variables served you, because there are some farmers with them variable they never serve. Where the serpent in the grass, they never escape the serpent and you escape your serpent. The struggle where you did have to go through, you get through it and over it. Some farmers never got through or over. The one helping hand where you get to pull you through a bad season, some people never get that. And so their farm did not give the right kind of harvest because all things were not equal. So we have some extra blessings. Some of us can call it guardian angels. Some of us can call it our ancestors who are speaking in our spirit and telling us what to do, giving us wisdom from experiences past and experiences to come, right? We don't know where they might get the information from, where they might get the vibration from, but they come and bless you with little guidance. And we were humble enough to take the guidance and avoid certain pitfalls. So while you are celebrating in your harvest, I'm not telling you to feel guilty about your harvest because some people harvest don't look good. Don't feel guilty that you are successful and those who you started with, those who you were helping, those who you were cheering for them thing not look so good. Don't feel guilty, but be grateful for all the things that worked in your favor. Gratitude is not something you must leave out of your harvest season. And too many of us forget to be grateful. So the concept there is to celebrate your win with the right attitude. So instead of feeling guilty, feel grateful that things worked out to your benefit and work together for your good. Another thing I want you to consider is how you share those victories. Plantation look good. Orchard look good. Harvest look good. You're walking around and talking to other farmers and showing them, yo, look how the thing work out. Look how me do this and it happen. You're sharing the glory of the moment. And for some, we might take it a little too far. As we're sharing the glory, it might come off as gloating. So again, I don't want you to feel guilty and afraid to tell people say this thing is going right for you. You can choose what you want to share. Don't feel like it's going to hurt them feelings if you share, and so don't share. Because some other people there around want to be inspired by your story. So the whole way you're holding the experience and the lesson and the blessing and the testimony because you don't want somebody beside you feel away, you're also denying somebody else beside you the opportunity to learn from your experience and be inspired by your story. So nobody hide it up because you don't want people think say. But find a way to share that glory, and part of it is with gratitude. Yes, saying thank you for the other things that worked out that really were not in your control. But be careful about that energy of gloating, as though you show off, say, I be make whatever, I be make God love me and he never love you. I be make Mother Nature love me and she never love you. Because we know there are some things that were not within our control. So learn how to share and present that blessing with an air of grace. So yes, you're in a winning season right now, but it not for be one of them beat your chest, then not bad like me kind of winning season. You can beat your chest and say, yeah, I'm blessed with them earbud. Good things that work out. The good in me has caused good to happen to me. Yeah, you can say that. But not a be make a good for you. Remember, say you don't have the control over the season. The gloat where you gloat over somebody else might just earn you a particular karma in your next harvest. So that's what I mean by be careful how you are harvesting. The attitude that you take to that period of time when things are going great for you. When the hard work pay off. You see, what you do in that time can have an implication for your next harvest. So treat the land, the landscape, the people around you, the other farmers that are farming in proximity to you, the resources that you get, the wealth that you earn. Treat it as though you're going to need it forever. Don't be guilty when your hard work paying off. Express gratitude. Don't gloat. but bring into the space a sense of grace. And the other thing I want to tell you is be careful how you're giving to. Be careful how you're giving. Remember, we start off with the first harvest principle. What you sow is what you're going to reap. So for many of us, the good season and the good treatment what we get from Mother Nature and from all the other variables in our seasons that led to a good harvest. You see, how we have treated other people caused them to want to treat us well. So when you're in a harvest season, look around too to see who you can break bread with. Because some people don't have the energy and the strength to even go sweat, much less to eat from the sweat of them brow. So you know the people who are on hard times and difficult times, not because them lazy, not because them don't want nothing good in life, but really because they are having a moment of hardship. They're having a moment of hardship. And you can come on the ship and help them for pitch and patch up some things. You can come on the ship and bring them a warm suit of clothes. You can come on the ship and bring them some water. You can come on the ship and bring them some food. You are in your harvest season. So give. But I encourage you to give with growth in mind. And when I say growth, don't think of it as, then when am I going to get back in return when we give them this now? Then if me give them this, I have to make them know, say, them owe me because I'm not going to make them forget this, you know. Them better not forget this, you know. You're not giving with that gloating energy in mind either. If I say, yeah, mama, I have enough, man. This you want, little bit of something that, take that, man. Show me if I'm not going to miss that. You're giving, though, with an intention to see growth for them. So it means you also have to be responsible with who you're giving. People who you know are going to waste what you give as much as you give it for them, you know. And I know some people who give that way. I'm going to give you anything you want to do with it, to your business. I don't care. But you see the farmer who has worked hard for that bag of orange there, like the farmer know what him or she put in at the ground for get out that bag of orange there. Them would like no say have it put in the kitchen and make it spoil. Them would like no say you take it and you do the best way you could have do with the bag of orange because of the best them do forget that bag there. So you can take the best work, the best effort, the best energy will give them the best harvest and go do foolishness with it and waste it. So you have to be careful how you are even giving. So it is important to give, and you have to give if you're going to receive. I one of them law their life where you can't go around. If you think some meanness and all and they call it scrumooching, right? If that's the approach you want to take, you're not gonna lose every day, you know. Some days you're gonna win with that attitude. But there is a greater side to the blessing that you can't access because you're not giving anybody anything. So you have to go give. But I encourage you to give with growth in mind. Give in spaces that it will have value. There's a parable in the Bible about a wealthy man who gave talents. We can consider them coins to people who were working with him. He was leaving the country or the state or the parish, whatever you want to call it. And he gave some coins. I'm converting the language now, put it in a way where we can understand. So I'm give some, I could call it some $5,000 bill then to people who were working with him. And he left for a length of time and came back and checked in with the people. Remember, I'm give them, you know. And I work and earn it. He never tell them, say, lend me and come back for it. He just give them and say, use it wisely. Leaves and comes back and checks in with each of them and say, boy, how you did do with the 5,000 I gave? And they begin to give their report about how they sent that money out to work for them. So the 5,000 for one man end up with 10,000 now. The 5,000 for another person end up with 15,000. When him do some bounce now and circle back the other guy and say, so warm to your own. I said, boy, I know somebody buried in the dirt. Yeah, me never really know if you do this. Somebody just dig one hole and drop it in there. The man vex. Take it back. What you mean? You never have nothing else to do with it. You couldn't put it to good use. You just have it under the dirt so I look pan. Like not even you a look pan it, not even son not see it. Just dirt and worm a see it. You couldn't use it to grow. You couldn't use it for develop on it. And so the persons who had used the resources and allowed it to multiply, those persons were seen as ones he could trust with little. And so he gave them much. So since you take this and turn it in at that, you're responsible for that part of my business, you know, because I say you're progressive and you can turn something into something more. You responsible for that part of my business, and now come to say you can turn something into something more. But you give it back. Give me back. That's because the person chose not to allow that thing to be used for growth. Now, when you see people like that, remember how hard you work for your harvest, you know. I'm not telling you don't give them. I would never tell you not to give them. I'm also not encouraging that you give them it with a lecture. Because again, in this parable, the person never give them a lecture. They just allow the character of the individual who received that money to determine what they did with that money. But if you've done it once and the person take it and waste it, you can't just give it away because you're feeling guilty, right? Maybe it's a family member, a friend. You don't know how to tell them no. And one of them, if you don't give them, they're going to cuss you until you say you're rich and switch, right? So to avoid that argument and to avoid them castigating you and criticizing you, you just dip in your harvest and just keep giving them. I believe we should give for growth. Give in ways that can bless people. Give in ways that can help to stimulate and encourage people to go out and look for their own. So when people in hardships, clearly they can't take it and go invest on the stock market, but they're not going to take it and buy a cigarette. If I'm hungry, she says she's hungry, and I give it to her, she go and buy the food. She go and buy the pamper. She go and buy the rice. She go and buy some water. She's not going to take it and buy rum. Give for growth. So you have to be responsible even in your giving, because you know how hard you work for the harvest. Treat the land, whatever that land is, if it's the people in your life, if it's the resources you've been blessed with, treat it as you will need it forever. Because if you don't treasure it, others will not know to treasure it either. But there's a deeper reason why we need to treasure it, you know. Because we have to think legacy and long-term and future. But we'll get to that point a little later down. But the larger principle with those three examples, choosing gratitude over guilt, choosing grace over gloating, and choosing to give for growth, is that you have to be careful of the attitude that you're entering your season of harvest with. Because the wrong attitude will spoil your next harvest. So celebrate with the right attitude. Celebrate also with the right people. Now, not for we don't need no angel or no ancestor to come tap up on our shoulder and say, that smarty they don't mean you're good. That relationship they need to cut. That friendship they not gonna away. That smarty they really want to see the worst in your life, and they must stay close so that them can be the first person to see the worst in your life. Some of us already know that. You know, we know that the person who we're introducing to other friends as our friend is really a frenemy. You know, they're staying close just so they can have the story to bring back in another space. So celebrate with the right people. Celebrate with the right people. Your energy, I tell you, there's something upright here, so. Their habits and behaviors and pattern of thinking and doing, I tell you, there's something off here, so. Nobody bring them on your farm when a harvest time. If you have something to share, you're going to give for growth and give responsibly. But they don't have to be on the farm with you when it's harvest time. You don't know what them having that little buckle of spray around. You don't know their intention. So in your season of abundance, while you want to serve others around you, whether them like you or don't like you, you serve them, you're giving, right? You give responsibly, but you're also giving from a place of love. Your sister, them need this kind of help right now, and you're going to give them. Them did step on my foot one time, them did carry bad news about me one time, them tell lie on me one time, them thief something from me one time. But in this moment, life wisdom and my energy, I tell me, say them need this, and them are going to do the right thing with it, so I'm going to give them this. The fact that you're sharing with them don't mean you're going to carry them in on the farm, come work on your farm with you. And if you make the wrong move in the harvest, I'm telling you, you're going to sabotage your next harvest. So you have to celebrate responsibly. Many times we win and we want to bring back in everybody upon the victory. The people who life taught us to separate ourselves from, that they were toxic. They were the bad energy. They were the bad vibration. And the minute you cut them off, it's like the plant them start grow up. You wonder, then how the weed them stop choke up this? The person you had there who you thought was a friend of me, and a plant weed for choke out your plants, and you separate them. right? You clean up the environment and the space and the energy. And know that you have the abundance. You want bringing back everybody again. You're going to sabotage your next harvest. You're going to sabotage your next harvest. Sometimes because you're trying to prove how forgiving and loving you are, that you allow people to cross back a line that they should not have crossed. I heard Jada Pinkett Smith say once that people deserve love, but we must know that some people can be loved from afar, right? I'm going to love you while you're over there, so, right? I'm going to love you while you're over there. I'm going to stay over here and you're going to stay over there and I'm going to still love you. But loving you doesn't mean you have to be on my farm, in my harvest, in my tree, in the earth, with my water. No, I'm going to need it for so integral and involved, right? In my life's farm and my life's work. So I'm going to love you from afar. Still I going to share with you, still I going to break bread with you, right? Because God is love, right? So me want to emulate the principles of God. Yeah, God is love, so I'm going to love you. But over there say I stay. Give me back the key, you can't come in as you have a mind. I change my address, you can't just find me. So I change my number. No, you're somebody who go email me, because you can't go WhatsApp me. You have to email me. Because some things where me end up talk about on WhatsApp, them some of them too toxic. Them WhatsApp group the way you want me in with them. I can't either them. Them not good or healthy for me. I bear bad vibes, them some of them. Right? When you call me at some little bring down conversation, I depend on that. So email me. I know you're not going to type out the sus in an email. So from your email, them, I know it's serious. I can stop and read it. I'm going to love you. But I love you while you're over there, sir. I'm over here, sir. So be careful of the people who you celebrate with in your harvest season. Celebrate responsibly. The right attitude and the right people. Because it can sabotage your next harvest. And remember, we're treating the land that has given us such good harvest. We're training ourselves to treat it as though we're going to need it forever. So we have to be careful what we're bringing on the land. We have to be careful what we're doing on the land. We have to be careful who is doing on the land. Because this is something precious that we want to preserve and we want its life to extend. And not just one good season, apple picking me I look for, or orange picking me I look for. I'm looking for several successful seasons. So I have to be careful what I'm doing on this land. And the second element of the harvest, because what I was discussing really was how to celebrate responsibly. But the second principle comes from a Ghanaian concept called Sankofa. 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 For some of you, you might recall seeing an image of it, which is an animal that looks like a duck, right? And its head, its beak is turned back to its tail and it's picking up something that kind of looks like an egg from on its back. And the image is meant to represent us going back to the past, picking up those lessons and wisdom nuggets from the past and bringing them into the future so that they can help us to enjoy more success and to progress better than the generations before us. So envision Sankofa as the going back for the lesson and bringing that lesson into the present so it can serve us now, right? And everything where them go through, we have to go through, for learn where them learn. So we could go back and grab that and bring it here. What does that mean for you in your harvest? What it means is there were some things that you learned while you were preparing for this particular harvest. While you were doing the work and selecting the seed and choosing the soil and doing the work to water it and to pull out the weed and to fertilize and to make sure it not get too much sun and make sure it not get too much rain. And while you were doing all of that, you learned some lessons. Go back for don't make the celebration in the harvest, Don't make the celebration cloud your mind, Because you have another harvest that you need to work on, So nobody forget what you learn while you were doing it. Because some of the mistakes you can avoid if you go back for the lesson now and bring it in the future. So while you celebrate the harvest, again, treat the land like you're going to need it forever. We can't waste time. The mistakes that we made in the first round, we don't have to make them in the second round. So I'm going back for those lessons and I'm bringing them forward now to serve me. So question, when you finish a year, when you finish a week, when you finish a month, when you finish a day, are you sitting down with that kind of Sankofa mentality? Because that wisdom now is not necessarily your ancestral wisdom, This is your life wisdom. Are you going back to say what me learn today? And bring it yes or no for see how me can use it for improve me tomorrow. What me learn over the last week where me I work so hard. Bring it round up front here for it to serve you as you're moving forward. 6 months gone out of the year. What me learn over the last 6 months. Habits that are serving me, habits that are not. People that are serving me, people that are not. Processes that I need to give up, ones that are more effective. What me learn. And put it in front of you so it can serve you as you move on. Treat the land, treat your life as though you're going to need it forever. So you can't waste a minute of it. You can't waste a minute of it. And a lot of us waste so much time by continuing to repeat the mistakes. When life goes on and say, hey, I have a lesson when I leave here. You know? You walk past it in a seat. Sankofa, we'll go back feet and we're going to bring it in the present. But that requires having a very deliberate practice of reviewing your life. One of the things I go through with my gladiators at the beginning of our mastermind this year is around setting up a morning routine and a bedtime routine that allows you to look at your day before you take it on and then look at the day after you have taken it on. And that's so important because there are some nuggets there, some important questions that life answered for you in 24 hours. And you just go, oh, Lord, I'm tired. Jesus, oh, make a bed and go sleep. Bop, and go sleep. Review the day. What did life teach you today? What did life teach you this week? What did life teach you this month? What did life teach you this year? Go back. Take it up. Put it yourself. But the second component of that Sankofa principle too is being willing to mentor others. Treat the farm as though you're going to need it forever. You see the neighbor where I struggle with for them farm, the friend, the family member where I try them best and it's just not for them. They come with the best intention and maybe they don't come with the best intention, but you see them and do something and you have a little insight on how them can do it better. Maybe they ask you for advice, right? Maybe they're showing you a problem that them have. Maybe them don't even ask you, but you're in proximity enough to hear say, this is a difficulty where them have. Treat your farm like you're going to need it forever. Because if your farm alone are blooming in your family, remember the saboteurs are going to come. So I bet you help them to figure out how to build and to prepare and to maintain a healthy farm in their lives. So that them are too busy to come over and check out what going on or try to stop the progress of what is going on your farm. So treat your farm like you always need it. Yeah, you have a good harvest of oranges now. But some people, they're on the farm were hungry. Who to tell next time they not come pick them off before you reach? Who to tell next time they not start, convince the people them who are working in your life to stop work on your behalf and come work on for them behalf. So wherever you can serve others, if you're doing it just because you want to help, great. Not expecting a reward, great. But it's also great if you're doing it to prevent them from sabotaging you. There's a principle that is often discussed in economics and socioeconomics. I should put it broadly because it deals with how societies and communities thrive. The principle that everywhere you have a upscale community and right at the foot of the hill, there are some depressed communities where resources are scarce, no water, no light, no food, poor access to data and technology, poor access to quality education, right at the foot of the hill. And if you drive 2 minutes up, it's opulence and luxury. There's a principle in social dynamics and in socioeconomics that talks about how people who don't have, seeing those who have every single day, flaunt it, boast it, and maybe you're not flaunting it, maybe you're not wasting it, but they're presented daily with evidence of what they do not have and what they believe they could never have, and with no support, resource, guidance to show them say something them can work and get to. Them develop a sort of malignant envy where they don't see the big house up on the top of the hill as something to aspire towards and say, well, if him build a big house, me can work out and build a big house. Sorry, getting tongue-tied there. They don't see it with the kind of envy that would motivate them. Yes, it is a more malignant and toxic envy that say, oh, you have that? Let me come take it from you. So the more you gain, the more abundance that is displayed in your life. Clearly, them not chose to have a fluxy mango. Some people are going to start cuss it, right? Some people are going to start make you feel uncomfortable because you have it. But some people are also going to try and take it away from you. And while you can't stop thief from the thief, there's some people who, with the right kind of mentorship and guidance, it take them eye off of the bad path. So maybe it's not that they're planning to come and take your Benz and take your Range Rover and take your house and take your money. Perhaps that's not their intention. They have probably decided that the only way they can have what you have is through a life of illicit activity and crime. So probably they're going to take up them phone and do a little scamming instead. So it's not necessarily to harm you, but somebody have to lose for them to gain because they're not clear on any other way that they could gain. Mentorship. Pick up one person. They could be in your immediate community, your immediate surroundings. They could be very distant from you, right? Maybe in another country. But you know that they exist and that they could learn and gain some value from what you know. From the abundance that you're enjoying in your harvest season. The wisdom where you go back for and take up and put in front of you. Like, I could share this with somebody else too. Find a way to mentor people. Now, you can mentor in a formal way, like taking on a mentor. Like saying, I am offering mentorship to youth who are from these areas. If you are one of those young people, apply and let's do those interviews and see if I'm the right mentor for you. You can go through an organization and ask them, do you have a mentorship program? I would like to serve. I see a business operating in these communities. Do you have young men, old women who I can mentor and serve with what I know? Or it can be something less formal. For example, using your online platform, sharing the wisdom, whatever life teach you. You take up your phone and you share it out there. One person must see it and say, boy, look how me think I'm me alone in this. Look how me think me never ever find a solution for this. And this person has presented some evidence that me did wrong. The problem can solve. And I know my problem alone. And somebody grows and benefits from that virtual mentorship. Serve people in that way. In your harvest season, as you're looking for ways to give, one of the ways you can give to people, outside of giving them the actual money, is to give them the information they would need to do what you have done or to do better. And that can be for selfish reasons, like to make sure they don't come take yours, or it can be from a place of real benevolence where you genuinely just want to give as much as you can give. So I remember talking about at the beginning the concept of an upper limit problem. The upper limit problem comes from people who, when they reach the harvest, they reach what is a peak, them start do all kind of things for sabotage themselves. Either they don't believe they deserve it, don't trust that they can do it again, or are worried about the next level of work that is going to be required from them. Know that them reach level 10. Jesus, suppose somebody see me now and say must come at level 11. I can't manage 11. Maybe just go back down at 5 really quick. Upper limit problem. When they think they have reached a peak, they start to do things to sabotage themselves, to restrict the flow of positive energy, to restrict the opportunities for more expansion and growth. So they become their worst enemy by doing some of the things that I have asked that we not do in our harvest season. And that is to celebrate irresponsibly, bringing the wrong people on the journey now that are going to tarnish your name, pop down your energy, mash up the thing where you work on, so that you don't have to go back on the farm and do what you have done or do more. Don't self-sabotage yourself by celebrating irresponsibly with the wrong attitude and with the wrong people. And again, consider the principle of Sankofa. If you are having self-doubt as you get to this peak, right? You say, we call it imposter syndrome. You say, then I me really do this? Me really could have do something like this? No, sir, I must buck ups. And you start to criticize yourself. You start to talk yourself out of the very success that you have earned. Yes, some blessing mixed up in the success, but you have done work. Because the seed never dropped into the ground by itself. You did the work. But you start criticizing yourself now. Part of the criticism is coming from a place of you having an upper limit problem. You're asking to get this. And you may not have the answer. But remember, I'm going to tell you, you have the answer. If you continue to return to your life and get the lessons, don't worry about level 11. Just like how you move from level 0 to 10, you can learn how to get to level 11. And it becomes so much easier when you're going back and picking up the lessons and carrying those lessons with you in the future. But it's evidence that you have an upper limit problem when you start to criticize yourself in your moment of success. You start to feel guilty. And so you're going to do things now to take away the guilt, like give, so you don't have this for deal with it, you don't want a body say you're rich and switch and you change and one that and you just, we don't want it. And sabotage your next season. Worrying is also evidence of an upper limit problem. Instead of enjoying the success, you start fret. Then suppose, then what if, but me don't know if, and all the unknowns and the probabilities and the maybeisms and everything, you start fret over when you reach your foot yet. So you can't even enjoy the harvest season that you're in. And because you're so worried about the what next, I wonder what people think about me. I wonder what they will say about me. I wonder what will happen next year. I wonder if I will have a good crop again. I wonder if I can repeat this success because maybe this was, again, an accident. You start to do things that reflect the self-doubt. You don't trust yourself. You don't trust yourself. And all of that really boils back down to self-sabotage. Oh, sorry about that. So ask yourself, what am I doing in my harvest season? Am I treating it responsibly or irresponsibly? Am I treating this land as though it's something I will need forever and taking the right kinds of decisions in this moment to make sure I will have the capacity, the resources, the quality land to generate as good at or even better harvests in the future? So that's harvest principle number 4. Treat the land like you will need it forever. When you are harvesting, don't get reckless, don't get careless. When you're harvesting, harvest properly so that the blessings can multiply, so that the success can be replicated, so that others can learn from your success and your experience too. And don't allow the self-sabotaging proclivities of your character coming from a place of low self-esteem or compromised self-esteem, because sometimes it's not low, it's just compromised in the moment. Don't allow that to lead to habits that will sabotage your own success in your next season. So celebrate your harvest responsibly. As I said, you can always check our YouTube page. Previous episodes or last 3 or first 3 rather in the series are available on YouTube, so you can type in Good Gas Mondays to access it, or you can binge through the podcast versions of our sessions. Be sure to share it with somebody who you know may find value in our Harvest Principles series. And just to go over it quickly in case you are unfamiliar with the 4 principles we have shared, we've done 3 previous episodes. This makes it our 4th. The first harvest principle being you reap what you sow. The second harvest principle being give the seed what it needs. The third harvest principle, you eat by the sweat of your brow, not the plan to start sweating. And our 4th harvest principle, treat the land as though you will need it forever. Sustainable farming is what a farmer or an agriculturalist would describe it as. Sustainable farming. So that after you've gotten this first crop, maybe the land needs to rest, but you don't destroy the space and make it impossible to go back there and generate harvest. And the final component of this principle of the land being used again is to think about the legacy you're creating for your children, for the generations to come. My friend Stacia Davidson talks about legacy living. So I want to kind of adapt that to say legacy farming. You're not just farming for one harvest. You're not just farming for one generation. So the success that you enjoy now, make sure that you are storing it up in a way that can serve the generations to come. That can be by writing a book so the generations after you know what you went through and what you learned and how you conquer your struggles. So you can do something for the generation to come by writing, journaling, publishing a book. We're in the age of technology. What if stop you from videotape and record and talk through your life's experiences? That are the new photo album. So generations after can come and learn something about you and what you did while you were on the farm. And another way is to consider generational wealth. How do you ensure that what you earn does not die with you, but goes out to work on your behalf and eventually serve generations to come? Let's think about how we can treat the land as though we will need it forever. Not just because we will need it for successive seasons and other harvests, but because there's a generation coming after us that will benefit from the work we do while we are on this farm. So we have to do the right thing and treat it responsibly. Let's not sabotage ourselves or sabotage the generations to come after us with poor land use practices. I don't want to go into my master's degree on land management and water management and urban and rural resource management, I'm trying to not go so far into the analogies, but I think you're pretty clear on the concept of our harvest season and harvest principles series that we've done over the last month. I want to say thank you again for being a part of the conversation. And for those of you who watch our videos on YouTube, the comments, I read them. I am inspired and encouraged by them. And that allows me to really put in extra effort a week time, because I know that people are pick up them something and I put it to use. So I try to make sure that the time that you're here with me for this 1 hour or so, it is serving you as best as I could serve you. Thank you all very, very much. I see the numbers kind of dwindling, people logging off because they realize I'm done. But the last thing I want to say is thank you for being an engaging community. It is because you are an engaging community why there's this little blue tick at my name now. So it's a verification badge from Instagram. I joke about it with my friends to say they mark me present. When you come to school and the teacher say, Krystal Tomlinson, present miss. And then we go so, bam, and stick it beside their name. They've officially marked me present. But it really comes from the audience being engaged, finding value in the content, sharing the content, searching for the content. And that tells me what I should do more of. When I check my insights and I see the videos and the posts that you engage with most, the conversations that we strike up in the comments, all of that helps me to know what quality content I can continue to share so it serves people in a good way. So when I see people comment on the Good Gas podcast and I'm listening with them children, that touch me. When I see people checking to see when Good Gas Monday starting back, because them always watch it with them son or them daughter, that touches me. And it tells me to continue to do this, because there's that group, there's that household, there's that circle of friends where this conversation matters and this community matters. And we're going to try and keep it pure. Yes, preserve the sanctity of it. To do what we did to grow this community, we're going to keep doing that as we expand it. So not never change, right? Blue tick never change, not at all. The same crystal you get. Same Jamaican crystal, right? It just means that when you type in crystal, you got a wrong crystal page. You can know say, oh, that what she be look for. I'm see her there. Yeah. So we're going to keep doing the same thing that helped us to grow the audience, to sustain and expand it. So thank you guys so much for finding value in and for continuing to engage positively with the content here on my page. I take that as a badge of honor and real privilege, because enough things are going online, enough things could have taken up on the time, and here you are. So I promise always to serve you to the best of my ability. All right? Enjoy the rest of your week, and I pray this has been a great Monday for you. If you are planning to register for our Phoenix Challenge, next week, I shouldn't say next week, we're not Monday. Saturday coming, the Friday coming, actually, the 26th of February. I hope I'm getting the date right. Numbers kind of failing me now. But I think it's the 26th of February, this Friday, we're actually going to close off the Phoenix Challenge registration completely. So we started with our first cycle that was ready. If you are going to be ready in this week, don't worry. What it means is that you come in on the challenge for 5 instead of 6 weeks. So you can click the link in my bio to register, and that's for persons who need help to get centered on the goals that they're trying to achieve. They need a community of accountability to make sure that they do the thing they've been planning to do but never seem to get done. If I you that you know, say I you. And also, if Your maximum effort comes when you're in a space of competition. That's a big element of our Phoenix Challenge as well. So our pods have started doing their work. Some pods gone out of the block from well early, set up them routine, them check-in systems, everything. But you have one more week to decide if you want to be a part of our Phoenix Challenge. Get registered, but as at the 26th, we're going to close off the platform. So you're only allowed to be 1 week late for the challenge, no later. Okay? Our groups are serious about getting the highest score every week and getting the highest score every month. So them now go keep changing and amending and ting their community. So I also have to be aware of that and have a hard deadline. So please be sure to register this week if you're planning to do it. If you're waiting longer than this week, it's no longer available. But we'll share some more during the course of this week on our Phoenix Challenge if you're just hearing about it or if you need some more information on what it is. But big up my gladiators. Any gladiator who is on right now, I haven't been checking the comments, guys. I'm so sorry. So many comments. Oh, God. Bless you know. Bless you know. Bless you know. Bless you know. Goodinella, thank you. Thank you. And you're welcome. I'm unstoppable. So, yes. If any of my gladiators are on right now, big up yourself. Congratulations on starting. I'm in on the WhatsApp group. I see all of the niceness them. But proud of them. I feel like said, I don't know. I feel like everybody goal mate. I just so I feel like me depend on the challenge with every single body right now. But I really enjoy seeing it, man. Really enjoy seeing how committed we are. And the fact that we're getting things done. 40 days from now, you're not gonna know some of them people. You see them, I say, who that? I don't know you. I don't know you. Wait, what? I'm gonna see her. They tell them say a Phoenix Challenge. We go through the fire, will come out like Phoenix. Bigger birdie, I look on you now. I'm gone. Eyes. All right, guys. Take care. Lots of love and lots of blessings to you. Enjoy the rest of your night and have a fantastic week.